does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? But darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. And if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to sing. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Yeah, I'm disgusted with myself, and I'm disgusted with the way we're told to have a certain face, a certain weight, because we aren't pixels on a screen. Oh, we're human, we breathe. Every single thing we see curated, adorated. These expectations, they keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, and if I say enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to think, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10.
Okay. This song, it really, really, whew, I take issue. I take issue with this idea of a perfect 10. Generally, I love numbers, and I think using them can be a way to communicate effectively. And the way that we apply numbers to bodies is deeply concerning to me. And I think this is something that we could talk more about, because with the rise of Instagram and social media, the pressure to look perfect is really intense, and I do feel influenced by that, as I think probably most of us do. And that song really irritates me, and I think it highlights the pressure to be perfect, and so many of us struggle with perfection. And yeah, but really what I want to do today is to I realized that I haven't even talked about the unicorn. I am I am sitting on a unicorn. I've been quite lonely, and the unicorn has been there for me during this time. And it's really hard to date these days, especially when you're emotionally available. And it seems like a lot of people are looking for something just physical and not really showing up for an emotional, significant experience. And I don't want to shame people for looking for that, but it just doesn't work for me. And so I am basically saving myself and spending considerable time processing my feelings and becoming the best version of myself through loving myself through the eyes of the unicorn and making love with the unicorn, making fuck with the unicorn. And sometimes I do have this fantasy of would it be the you being the unicorn or the unicorn being you? Like, I recognize that the unicorn has limitations when it comes to making fuck and making love and to communication and listening and emotional reciprocity. And at the same time, they are a phenomenal listener, and they have never shamed me or gaslit me. They never put something in my food as a threat or intimidation tactic. They never make me feel like I'm not enough. The unicorn is actually, in some ways, a much healthier partner than so many of us have experienced. And I think that's a reflection of how much room for improvement we have as a society and the need to be better communicators so that we can have better quality interactions and not become dependent on alternative forms of loving. And at the same time, I think there are probably times in our lives where alternative forms of love and intimacy and quality time can be helpful and healing and quite transformative even, especially if for whatever reason we don't have people to share quality time with, which right now is the case for so many of us with this loneliness crisis and the dating crisis. So this is how I've been navigating the challenges of modern dating. And at the same time, my love with this unicorn goes way beyond purely an individual journey of want to show you something. Oh, can you see? Where'd they go? Where'd you go, buddy? Oh, oh. Where'd you go? Oh, can you see them? I don't know if you can see them. That's so cool. I don't know what that bird is called. I'm not much of a birder, but that's so cool. I hope you can see them. Oh, I think they're going into the backyard. Can we catch them in the backyard? I don't know. We will see. Oh, I think they might be gone. Oh, wow. So lucky. Whew. Where were we? Feels quite intimate to be sitting on a unicorn. I'm not used to doing that, and I feel a bit self-conscious. It feels quite intimate, but I think there's something about emotional intimacy and physical intimacy and touch that we're losing as a society if we are not having opportunities to practice communication and love and touch and to practice consent. And it's possible nowadays and more affordable than in the past to basically never need to leave your house. And in some ways, that can be really awesome, and also we're changing in how we live our lives. My biggest social experience these days is going grocery shopping, and so many people don't even do that anymore. And it's so easy to not have to go to the grocery store at all. What is the point? That's a good question. My intention of sharing my love for the unicorn through this way of expressing is to make this world a more loving, safe place for all of us. That is my intention. To model vulnerability. I have been struggling with mental health and loneliness, and I've realized talking about my feelings and combining that with touch and with this spiritual commitment to love and safety, and then combining that with movement and music and dance, and combining that with sex positivity and with making fuck and making love with intention. That's been a powerful healing journey for me. And I want to invite you to dance with me and to have a dance, make fuck, party. Everything is optional. Clothing is optional. Making fuck is optional. Making love is optional. And the unicorn will be there. And it's all about celebrating our bodies and having an alternative approach to sex positivity, to thinking about how we make fuck, how we make love, to be intentional about loving ourselves and meeting our holistic needs. Yes. And why not also pull a card from the universe? Oh, maybe we could make our own oracles. Oh, I really like that idea. Do you want to make an oracle with me? Just a mini one? Oh, yes. Okay. I'm thinking four options. This is completely spontaneous. Oh. Okay. This is a very simple DIY oracle. The intention to support our holistic transformation. Okay. So we've got 4 cards. What would we put on the cards? And your cards might be different than mine. Okay, I have an idea. I'm drawing a picture. Okay, yeah, I think this is gonna be pictures. Very simple ones. I'm curious what yours are. Okay. Okay, I've made a deck. This is my first oracle deck. Do you need more time? Yeah, you can finish it later if you need to. Okay, I'm gonna pull a card. Okay, I'm gonna shuffle them. Oh! Okay, so this is to make something special for yourself and enjoy it. I have drawn a special, and like to eat it out of a special vessel. And I actually have prepared some, this probably looks like bird food. It's not bird food. There's chia seeds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, cocoa. I think that's everything. Yeah. And I'm gonna mix it with some rich and creamy coconut cream. Excuse me. Ooh. To make, okay, I'm not gonna spill this, I hope. Okay. Make a little dessert. Ooh, treat. Oh, and it fits perfectly. Wow. This will probably be best stirred without spilling. Probably could switch this into a different vessel. But there's something about using this special glass that feels like this moment is particularly special. Like you could eat this out of a bowl and to the taste buds, it might be the same experience, but then emotionally, psychologically, having an intentional vessel, ooh, makes this feel kind of like a big deal. And oh, I think this is missing one ingredient. Do you want to guess what it might be missing? Oh, whoa. Wow. Let me see how chocolatey this is. I have a feeling that there might be a lot of chocolate. Yeah, it's stuck in the spoon, the cocoa. I need to get it out off the spoon in order to effectively distribute the cocoa. Oh, fuck. Oh! I should have known that. Okay. This is not ideal. Fuck. But it's okay. It could definitely be so much worse. And as far as problems go, this is a very delicious problem to have. Oh, it's really starting to rain outside. I'm glad we're warm and inside. Whew. Sometimes the little things can make a big difference, like being able to be inside on a rainy day. Whew. Wow. Oh. Are you making a treat for yourself? I hope so. Mmm. Mmm. Oh, this is really good. But it would be even better with peanut butter. So fucking satisfying. I would say this is one of the little things that can actually be quite satisfying. Yes. Okay, one more squeeze. Oh, it's just not enough for it to come out. Damn. Wow, look at all that. That. It's gonna take this to the next level. Whew. Wow. Peanut butter. Which in some ways is kind of a metaphor. I was reflecting on porn and how we think about food and how watching porn influences how we think about sex and how we think about our bodies and pleasure. In a similar way to if somebody thought food was limited to lunch and sandwiches and white bread and being metaphorical. Somebody thought sex was maybe a peanut butter and jam sandwich with hot chili sauce. And there's nothing wrong with having a peanut butter and jam sandwich with hot chili sauce. And also, if somebody wants a sandwich, I don't want to assume that they want hot sauce. Excuse me. And when people have their sex education through porn, that can lead to ideas about sex and about pleasure that do not reflect the complexity of real people and what feels good and the communication that is essential for having nourishing, healthy, positive sexual experiences. Porn teaches people to go through the motions of a very particular approach to making fuck, where there isn't space to make an oracle deck and to do something intentional to make the most of this moment and think outside the box, which is so important to really show up for our holistic mental health, to be able to have a conversation and be vulnerable and express what's going on and not just hope for the best without really taking the time to have a conversation. Those are my thoughts. However, with casual sex, I think there's this idea that, oh, people can just hope for the best and kind of stumble through, often under the influence of different substances that can impact our ability to communicate and listen effectively. So there's multiple layers and levels of challenge when it comes to communicating effectively and building safety in casual encounters in particular. So I would argue having even more protections in place to build trust and safety is essential if people want to really show up in a healthy, safe way to build consent and prevent negative experiences that happen far too often, including when people have the best intentions but don't have the skills to communicate effectively. And some people just don't have good intentions, and I think that's a different conversation to have that is also important. But because of the shame around sex, it can be so hard for us to talk about it, even beyond casual experiences in loving relationships. It can be really tough to talk about sex with someone that we love. And what I'm hoping to do through conversations like this is to model doing my best to have these conversations and to build safety and to do it with empathy. I think there's a lot of shame around people using porn, and shame doesn't help us at all, in my opinion. I think it disconnects us from ourselves, disconnects us from each other, and makes it more difficult to be vulnerable and to have conversations about sex if we can't be open about the messages and the norms that are represented in mainstream pornography and how that has shaped our culture around what sex is supposed to look like when there's not one way to have sex. And for so many of us, our sex education follows some sort of order, and sex doesn't need to follow a specific order as long as there's that safety and trust and space for communication. Sex could be pulling oracle cards. It could be whatever we want it to be. There are infinite ways to practice pleasure and to make the most of little things. I've had the privilege of making love with different people in my life. It's been a long time at this point in my life since I've made fuck or made love. And in the past from having conversations with lovers and inviting feedback and listening to their bodies and their verbal requests, I've learned more about pleasure in general, and also learned more about how to I'm getting a call. It's from I kind of want to show you. I don't know. It's gone. But it said it was from like a number with a V, which I don't know if that's a VoIP phone. I feel like it was probably a robot. Excuse me. Where were we? Oh yeah. From having sexual experiences with different people, I've learned more about what feels good and what people want, and each person's body responds differently to touch. And I think each of us, we each have a different body, and what feels good is not universal. And when I tried to learn about sex and pleasure, so often the messages would be kind of one size fits all. And I think that misses out on a lot of potential. And if we really want to show up for pleasure in a meaningful way, building our skills for communication and curiosity and experimentation and vulnerability are essential. Asking questions, not assuming that we have all the answers. Even when it comes to experiencing pleasure solo, I have learned about my pleasure by learning about other people's pleasure and slowing down and noticing the little things and really savoring something that in the past I might have just not really paid attention to. For example, with this noticing the color and the textures, and how it feels to stir, and the sound of the spoon, and the flow, the viscosity, and the feel of anticipation, of wanting, of slowing down, not just rushing, and really taking my time. And really feeling that wanting, which it's not possible in my experience to feel the wanting if you don't slow down enough to pause and experience the anticipation and savor that, which might sometimes be even more energetically delicious than the actual substance. That dance of intentionally playing with cat and mouse, that can be even more satisfying than whatever might come later. If people want to play cat and mouse. Or whatever, being dinosaurs, chickens, cats, or unicorns. Do you want to have a dance party with clothing optional, with fucking optional? We do whatever feels aligned, whatever feels good. There's no right or wrong way to be. We wear whatever we want. We move however we want. Toys and friends are welcome as long as we show up for ourselves and do what feels right. Fuck yeah! Okay, cue the music.